I'm going to be testing out a drill today that I know a lot of you have heard about. I know a lot of you have seen videos and clips on Instagram or YouTube about this particular drill. And I want to go through it today and examine it, try it out for myself a little bit, and I want to see if I can improve upon it a little bit. Let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome back to Golf Test Dummy, the channel where I use my game to help your game, hopefully. First of all, there's going to be some people, this is the first episode of Golf Test Dummy that they've seen. Consider subscribing down below, click the bell off to the side, just like every other YouTube channel on the planet, you know the drill. But on this channel, I test out a lot of different things, different swing methods and drills and products and clubs and gear and all kinds of stuff. Hopefully, this stuff is relatable enough to you that you can at least glean some things off of this and maybe find something to help your game. That's my hope anyway, so welcome to the channel. Now, as I said in the beginning, I've got a drill. There's a lot of variations on it. There's a lot of videos, a lot of coaches, Instagram, YouTube, you name it. This is nothing new, but today I'm going to test it out a little bit for myself. I'm going to see what I feel from it, and I'm going to give some of my feedback on it. And then from there, I'd love to hear your comments. If you've tried this drill, if you haven't tried this drill, what you think, what I can improve on, what you can improve on. Is this drill a bunch of garbage, or is it worth your time? Let's go. All right, again, if you've never watched any of my videos, this is the first one. This is my garage, AKA the lab. This is a golf club. That is a golf ball. And this is a folding camp chair. Now, I'm using the Wisdom in Golf approach, the Sean Clement swing model and what he teaches as sort of a basis. And then there are some little individual things that I've plugged in myself that have helped me along the way. You can go back and watch my video where I show the evidence that maybe I fixed a lot of my early extension with this Wisdom in Golf method. It doesn't matter what swing method you're using. This is supposed to be fairly universally applicable to cure early extension, bad posture, bad positioning, bad timing, bad impact, inconsistency. So essentially this is it. You set up with sort of your butt or your thighs sort of touching this chair. You're supposed to either keep your butt in contact with that chair as you take it back and take it through to maintain your posture, make sure that you're not coming up out of it, you're standing up too early, you're extending too early, and then finish at the target. Another version of it is to actually be above it and then feel like you're going to sit into that chair. You can even turn this chair around, put a bag on it. I've seen that, put a duffel bag on top of it so that you're not in contact with it at first, but then as you swing and you come into impact, you actually sit down into that chair. I'm no pro. I'm just trying to get better like you guys. All right, so I'm going to set up. You might have to move your ball position around just a little bit to get cozy, and then I'm going to try and come off of it a little bit and then sit down into it. All right, so here we go. Let's go slow at first. All right, great solid contact. That's a great first effort. The chair, the fact that the back is flexible is good because it can accept you moving into it without like having something so rigid that doesn't have any give to it so you don't hurt yourself. The downside of that already, I can tell, is that this material is kind of difficult to feel on the back of your thighs unless you're securely sort of up against it, right? That was a little fat, but still not too bad of a swing, really. We're going to give it one more go here. Let's see. Not the best contact in the world. Let me give it one more go. You're trying to sit in that chair and get to where I touch it. I stall and I stop right there, and I don't rotate through. All right, so I've heard some of the golf coaches saying that once you get the sit accomplished, then you need to add the elements of rotation. Now, me personally, I think that gets pretty complicated. Okay, so I got to take it to the top. Now I have to sit into this, and then I have to rotate. I feel like that's more than you need to be asked to manage in the course of a 1 to 1.5 second golf swing, if you ask me. So let me see if this time I just think about getting here and then touching it as I turn through rather than just sitting. Much better. All right, so in just a short time with that drill, you kind of get a feel for it. Like I said, it's difficult to maintain contact with the seat and be in the right position with the ball at the same time. you'll really have to play around with getting that chair. And the other thing is that you probably don't want to take a folding camp chair out onto the driving range with you when you're working on this. If you're indoors like me and you can be hidden away when you're doing stuff that looks completely ridiculous, it's totally fine. But if you got to go out in public, what else could you do? Exit the chair and enter the golf bag. It's not bad. All right, so we're going to try it again. We'll set up here. That's a great swing and great contact, and I can feel it back there. It is a good reminder to sort of come down and stay down into the shot rather than getting here like I used to and standing up and flipping at it. It causes so much inconsistency, loss of power, loss of distance, high shots, weak shots. All right, so I think we've established that you can use a folding chair. You can use your bag with your driver in it. I'm sure if you're out at the driving range, you could use one of those bag stands that they have there. That would be fine as well, but a lot of times those are going to be lower, and they're not always that soft plastic. Sometimes they're really thin, hardened metal, and you don't necessarily want something like that up against your pants or your butt. So let's take this bag out of the way. Let's see if we can't make this just a little bit easier for everybody. Now, in my last Sundays at 3 with GTD episode, I talked about something called squat to squash, and it's basically a way for me to get good compression on the golf ball. And I thought maybe it would be a good swing thought for some of you guys to try out and see if you had some success with it as well. It's especially good if you've got the tops or the thins. It really helps you to figure out how to get the club with the shaft and the grip leading the club head coming into impact and really get that sweet compression on the golf ball, trap it against the turf, and just make the ball explode out toward the target. So squat to squash is really kind of the same concept as sitting down into the chair, except this time I don't need anything other than myself, my club, and my ball. Well, and a place that doesn't have any cars or small children in it that could be hit by the ball. My intention has to still be to send the ball toward the target. Only now, instead of thinking about hitting the ball toward the target, I'm thinking about compressing that golf ball so that it rebounds almost like a high bounce ball off of the club face and squirts out toward the target. You really don't need to overpower the club. You don't need to muscle it. You don't need to use your shoulders. You don't need to use your hands. You don't need to use your arms. It doesn't require brute strength. It just requires gravity and the correct drop. So what I do is I sit up to the golf ball, and the first thing I'm doing is I'm acting like this club weighs a ton, and I heave it up to the top using my lower body and my hips and momentum. I throw it up to the top, and then from the top, all I think about doing is squatting. Squatting to squash the golf ball. Now the cool thing, as I explained in Sunday's video, is that here I'm tilted and my knees are working this way, right? So you can see the line of the shaft. As I take it away, I really open up. And if you try to squat straight down, you put yourself in a weird position that doesn't feel like you can get to the golf ball at all. But if you allow it to naturally happen and you turn back and then you sit, you'll sit and come back to square. Your body, your pelvis, your knees, your shoulders, if you just get up to the top and sit, you'll come back to square. And then from there, the club is already moving. It's already coming down toward the target, and that momentum will help to make you rotate and carry you up toward the target. In that sense, you don't even have to think so much about rotating. At least I don't. So here we go. Let's see if we can get squat to squash in motion. We'll take it really slow. Again, just sit up to the top, take it up, and just sit. Research that I've done and all the stuff that I've messed with over the last couple of years, I'm a big fan of intention. Intention being the governor of everything that happens in my golf swing. If I get my intention correct, and I have the intentions very simple and very repeatable to where I can think about one thing, then all of the sequences, the complex motions in the golf swing, they take care of themselves. And all I need to do is keep my intention correct. I want to trap that golf ball and squeeze it just with my weight against the turf. I almost want to intend to hit the ball 2 feet off of the ground, not by trying too hard, but just allowing the club dynamics to catch that ball, pinch it, and then send it screaming off. Now, of course, it's going to go higher than 2 feet off of the ground, but my thought and what I do to try and make sure I get great ball contact and compression is to try and trap the ball low. Now, if you try and come up, as I have tried in the past, and you try and do it with your hands and arms, you get something that looks like this. That's pretty decent compression, honestly. Is it going to be consistent? I don't know. I don't play that way. You can try it with your shoulders. Let's see if we can do it with the shoulders. Again, solid contact. But that ball, I guarantee if I was on the range, that started left and peeled off to the right, a big banana slice, because the shoulders overtook and made me really steep and probably caused me to have a slightly open club face with a really steep descent. So you can do that. You can operate in that way with your shoulders, but when you get out and you try it on the course of the range, you're probably not going to be too happy with the results. So what's another way to compress it? For me, if I get it back here and I just squat into it, I'm accomplishing a lot of the things that the golf coaches want you to do with one simple task. Take it to the top, sit into it. The rotation will happen as long as you don't prevent it. And I'm going to trap that ball. And that's no effort. I wasn't even set up correctly. Think about it like this. Instead of thinking about you having to hit the golf ball and just your speed and your force and all of that, sending the ball toward the target. So the harder you swing, the faster you swing, the further it goes. Instead of thinking about all that effort, think about if you can trap it against the turf. It almost makes the ball bounce off of the turf, come off of the turf, then bounce off of the face, and then rebound off of the face toward the target. Think about a rebound. It's almost like you're bouncing the ball off of the club face. That's another good swing thought. That may help you take some of the effort out, because if I set up and I bounce it, my intention there was just to bounce the ball off of the club. At the end of it, I've tried the chair drill, I tried the golf bag, I've done these things before. I'm just showing you a little bit on video on what I've tried, and really I think I've simplified it for me. It's just the squat to squash. You can call it sit to get, or you could call it go down to get up. No matter what you call it, if you take it away to the top and you just heave it up and take your effort levels down, heave it up, and just sit. Just sit down. You can see that I'm rotating through. My weight finishes on my front foot. It's really simple. It does take a little practice. And I'll say this, with any drill or any change you are trying to make, exaggerate the hell out of it. Just like that. Guys, I appreciate you watching this video. I hope you liked it. If you did, click the thumbs up down below. Leave me some comments. Let me know what you think about this drill. Have you tried it? Has it worked for you? Has something else helped you cure your early extension and help your ball striking woes? See you in the next video.